Welcome back. Welcome back to the Fantasy Waiver Wire. This your boy Tubby. With me as always is Greg. I always want to say Lee.
Either or is fine.
I get that, but it's just those first 3 seasons. I think you went by Lee. I think it's the first season you went by Greg.
Yeah.
So
it's because my other podcast that I'm Greg, and I'm trying not to confuse myself, so I just leave it up. So yeah, Lee was kind of what everybody called me when we were military. You know, that was everybody called you by your last name.
Oh yeah.
So I was used to that, and then I was like, yeah, I'm starting to get used to people calling me Greg now.
Yeah, man. Hey, well, welcome back. It is week 10. I'm on the opposite of a heater. What's the opposite of a heater?
Cooler.
A cooler? There you go. I am in the cooler. I am in the basement. I am on a losing streak. It is not fun. I am just slipping down. Luckily, some other folks in our league have had a rough start.
Oh, yeah.
We're back for week 10. Fantasy advice, a lot of trades in the NFL. Let's get right into it. What's going on, Greg?
Well, my 3-game winning streak came to an end after my 5-game losing streak. So I was kind of hoping I keep going, but man, when no one in your team performs and like your defense is the highest scoring member of your team, you're just like, oh, this is not a good day. I don't mean the highest is overall, but like based on their projections.
Oh yeah.
So nobody performed this week, and it's not much you can do. I mean, I've got starters on my team. It's just nobody there. So it is what it is. You just keep plucking away. One of the things that I've learned to do this season in fantasy is I don't keep my phone up during the games. Me and some friends go to B-Dubs. We watch the first games there, and then we go to one of them's house and watch the second game, and then I come home. And then maybe Sunday night I'll start looking at my fantasy. Otherwise, I'd just be depressed.
Yeah, man.
Or stressed. So yeah.
100%. You know, funny thing. So 2 weeks ago when me and Joe was taking the piss in the chat, and I didn't even know, like, he was kind of, but I didn't even know he had Derrick Henry. So I'm sitting here watching the game. I'm in here on some FIFA or EAFC, and I'm watching the game. I didn't even know he had Derrick Henry. So when Derrick Henry was going off, or when he caught that touchdown, I didn't know he had Derrick Henry, and I didn't even know he had Connor.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, thought Outcast or Tighten Up CO this year, that's his name this year, but I thought Outcast had it. I don't know what happened. So even though he was trolling me, the heartbreak wasn't like they thought it was, I guess. You know what I'm saying? When you're watching it and you see that play, wasn't even that. I had Connor on my other team. I was fucking rooting for Connor because I needed him to win my other league. You get me? So same thing this week, man. I'm sitting here going against Kamara, and I need Kamara in my other league, and I'm going against him. But man, Mel just had a hell of a week. Ran absolute rough shot. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. So this is
while you're doing that, I'm just gonna tell you how bad my week was. In my other league, I played this dude, right? And let me take my glasses off so I can read. This was his lineup. He had Josh Allen with 45 points. He had Kamara with 30 points. He had Pollard, of all people, with 21 points. Pollard's been actually going off lately. He had Reek with 12, but then he had Cortland Sutton get him 26 points. Kelsey with 24. Mooney with 20. The Jets defense with 20. I was like, dude, double digits every single player. That's the kind of week it was. And those happen. I scored like 170 and lost because he had 200.
Yeah. I mean, you just described what I went up against. Joe Burrow, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Dobbins, 26. Kyron Williams on an off night, 15. Mm-hmm. Reek, like you said, lucky, but he still had that one little catch at the end. Still got him 16. Devontae Adams comes back off a concussion.
Yeah.
A concussion. Fucking Drake London can't avoid a hip injury. but Adams can come back from the dead from a concussion and catch that touchdown towards the end.
Yeah.
God damn. Pitt is the only one that shit the bed. Swift, 20 piece. Come on. 37.50. What? This is outrageous. I was getting bombarded. Bro, this was No, I had a solid week. I mean, 176 is not amazing in
Oh,
our
that's a
league,
great score.
but
Yeah.
it's still a solid week, and I had no chance. The Raiders just kept giving the ball back in
Yeah.
the absolute ideal situations, and for some reason, Burrow threw it at the 1 yard line, 2 yard. It didn't matter. He had tried to run it a couple times, but when you see somebody putting up 5 touchdowns on you, just like it's going to be one of those days. And then I turn around and Dobbins, I'm thinking I'm catching ground a little bit with Hubbard.
Yeah.
But then Dobbins just moseying along. I'm like, oh. Then he had everything just hit for him. And then he had the fucking Chargers defense against Cleveland. When I told you, Jameis will throw you in, he'll throw you out, but he gonna throw it. And he didn't throw it to Njoku. Ah, man. And so, yeah, man, I had a really bad week. And it's not like I had any help. It's not like I could have even went to my bench. I just had a bad week in every way possible. DK Metcalf's out. I was going to play the kid, McMillan, got him off the waiver wire. He's out. ETN, I just don't even know what the hell is going on. Harris has been solid on a bye. And, I kind of pick up Algier here and there just as a handcuff sometimes, So, shitty week, man. Shitty week.
Yeah.
For your boy.
Yeah. Same here. Lost in both leagues.
Hurts when I bring yours up. Here you go.
Yeah, it wasn't great. 145, but I picked up Tua lately, and he, I have nothing else. I started the season with Richardson. I've been revolving quarterbacks through this whole damn thing, and it's like I said, I got decent production from Brees and Gibbs, but when you got guys scoring 29 with Bijan and then you get down there and you got a Dunzier with 20, I just can't, I couldn't stay with him, and then Cade Otton last night was unreal. The thing about the Bucks, when they played the Eagles, they had, Godwin and Evans and went off. They got nobody right now. So Otton was like the dude last night. I think they could have beat the Chiefs if they'd have had their receivers, but that's how it goes in this league. I picked up Hawkinson on a lark. He didn't do crap, but nobody is. Tracy, nothing for me. Judy, nothing. I mean, I have a guys on the bench, same thing. No one was going to help me. My best performing team was the Vikings on defense. That's crazy. And they only had 16 points. But yeah, Bucky had 7. I had Singletary. I've been hanging on to him in case Tracy got hurt. But, and then you got Jameson Williams, who's been suspended. Ferguson was great, but I put in Hawkinson. So I paid that. That was the only real mistake I made. Other than that, really was nothing, dude. It was just a bad performance. I mean, Judy got me 19, but it's like it was so inconsistent.
Right.
My flex has really let me down. I'm about to punt DJ Moore into freaking the stratosphere.
It's not his fault.
I know.
It's not his fault. It's not DJ Moore.
But I just punt is kicking my hell off my team because I can't do anything with him.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I'm the same way with Allen right now. I'm like, I just have to move on from Chicago wide receivers because Williams is just I don't understand the guy really. I try to like check out his game and see how he plays. It's just really not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. He's just and the more you get to see him, the more you like, he's just not your typical athlete or your typical star. He's just like a quirky dude. It seems like I don't know. It never seems like he takes the game like fully, like he's fully there or fully committed. I don't know. He doesn't have that dog in him. I guess that's what he's missing. That dog.
When he won the Heisman, I was like, I got into a big argument with a friend who's a USC fan. I'm like, dude, I said, I just don't see it. I said, I know he had a great year statistically, but the Pac-12 has no defense and they're just pumping this guy up. But to me, I just didn't see it. And then his last year, he really didn't play well. And I was like, man, somebody is going to take a chance on him and he is going to be a bust. Now, granted, it's early. I don't want to sell the farm on him like happened to Bryce Young, but it's just not good right now. And they surrounded him with talent. It's not like he's coming into a team with no wide receivers and no running back. You got Swift, you got Keenan, you got DJ. You got a team, the Komet. You got a great defense. And damn. And some of the people saw this coming and was like, man, if he doesn't perform, that's going to be bad. But, it is what it is. And then, what makes him really look bad is when you got, somebody like Jaden Daniels, who can't seem to do no wrong. I watched some of that Giants game with Jaden and him giving Malik Neighbors grief and harassing him. Dude is having fun.
Yeah.
He isn't arrogant. He isn't being an ass, but he doesn't look stressed at all. And that's scary. A rookie that looks like he's been doing this his whole life.
Right.
And we got to play this guy next Thursday. And it's like in Philly, granted, but damn. Now I know that the Giants held him in check a little bit, and so did the Bears. So Eagles really need to do their practice, but I think that he's an X factor with that Fangio is going to have to adjust for. So
100%, man. The play is like never over with him. Like I said, he's like if people are saying like this is like could be Lamar 2.0. I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit in my division. No. I don't want to hear that. And the fact that Lamar is playing as well as he's playing in year 6 or 7 is absolutely scary. Consider that Jaden Daniels could even be playing like that in year 3 or 4. That will just be unbelievable. Because man, I'm not, like I said, I think I said this last week. Maybe I haven't watched enough Ravens games, but when I have been recently, and I was like, man, they're playing really well. They're like really, really hard to stop. Their defense can be suspect at times because they give up a lot on the pass, but their offense just looks like, I mean, the ball's coming out super quick at times. I don't know, man. They're to me, I know Detroit is playing really well, but based off that ass whooping the Ravens gave them last year when they was hot shit, I'm gonna have to give the edge to the Ravens right now if I had to, because they basically have the same squads for the most part that they had last year.
I
So
think
I'm gonna give the nod to the Ravens. Like if they were to play in the Super Bowl, I would lean Ravens. I'm just talking about like who I think the two best teams are right now.
Yeah, I think it would be I don't think it would be a blowout this time. I think the thing that hurts the Lions, of course, is losing Hutchinson, but their defense is stepping up. Going into Green Bay and winning the way they did is very convincing. The Eagles beat Green Bay pretty good, but it was in Brazil. Just tough and pretty good statement. And it was early in the season. You have, now it's everybody's kind of got their groove on. And that Detroit defense looked really impressive. So I think that, it would be a great Super Bowl. I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather see the Eagles Ravens, but
I'm just the two hottest squads I think right now.
I agree, without doubt.
Are the Ravens from the AFC and in Detroit. I just gotta give Detroit their props because they're pretty loaded at every single level. They have a good line, they have a good quarterback, they have two, running backs that would be RB1 on any other team they were on. I don't know. Montgomery kind of lost his spot a little bit. That's why he went there to Herbert. So anyway, you get my point. They got two really, what they call them, Sonic and Knuckles or something.
It's the old Thunder and Lightning thing too.
Mm-hmm. Their wide receiving core is just, they have a top 5 receiver in St. Brown. If James ever got his shit together, he's spectacular as well too. And they have a good tight end as well. So they're loaded, man. And their defense is playing lights out. And they just traded for really good defensive end off the Browns.
Yeah, for the Browns. Yeah. And that will make up for the loss of Hutchinson. Not exactly. You don't take the league sack leader and lose him and replace him. But yeah, that was a huge trade at the deadline. And of course, Washington made a big deal at the deadline too, getting Lattimore from the Saints.
Yeah, saw that.
Eagles did nothing. I'm not too upset with that. I would like to have seen them get a pass rusher. Myles Garrett would have been a nice gift, but
that's a pipe dream. That's such a dream. Like, one, what would you have to give up to get him? That would be scary.
True. Yeah.
Versus like how much he has left in the tank in his career, which is a lot too. So it's, whoo, man. I think we're just that let down by Huff a lot this year.
Yes, that's huge. They took a chance by letting Reddick go, not giving him the contract when they could have, and we would be okay. Instead, they bring in Huff, who seemed like a bargain at the time, and now it's not working out. So, you know who is a bargain? And going back to another team in the AFC, because you're talking about Ravens being hot, Kansas City's still plugging around 8-0. They're still winning games and winning overtime again, finding ways to win again. More questionable calls, whatever. I get it. If they're still winning games, and watching D Hop last night, holy crap, that's a bargain. What, they give a 5th round for him,
man.
And then what did Dallas go out today and pick up the receiver from the Panthers for a 4th rounder?
Man, I missed that. I didn't even. Oh no, I did. Hold on, I think I may have missed that.
Yeah,
I may have missed that. Let me see. Cowboys trade for Mingo.
That's it. Yeah,
got you for Mingo. I
for
did
a 4th rounder, and D Hop goes for a 5th.
Right.
And you do this after your quarterback goes down. I don't get them sometimes, and that's not coming from a Dallas hater, because I am. I'm just perplexed sometimes the way they make their moves. They wait too late to give their guys contracts, and then it costs them more than it should. It's crazy.
Yeah. Another splash. It's crazy when you on the team.
This one, yeah.
When you're on when you still have a Chargers jersey on and you're 2 logos later. I mean, he doesn't even have his Jet jersey on. And now you have Steeler in the background.
That's true.
Boy, oh boy. Mike Williams, you better tighten up.
Yeah. Well, when Devontae showed up, his days were numbered. And again, he's suffering the wrath of Rodgers, because Rodgers got solid booted. You could say what he didn't, but whatever, he did. And then when Mike made that drop right before they went out and got Devontae, Aaron was pissed, and he wasn't going to have that guy on his team anymore. And so it's like everybody's got to be the scapegoat for this guy. And I think this is a great situation for Williams if he can perform. Granted, he's 30 years old, but he's going to a team that has got a good chance to contend. Russ is looking like Seattle Russ right now.
I don't know.
He has the last 2 games. He's looked good.
I think I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the jury is still out. I think from a leadership perspective, they couldn't have got a better person to lead their squad. To me, that's what Russ brings. Russ brings stability. He brings good leadership. Bringing the ring in there helps as well too. But I think he has the right temperament. For a lot of those young guys that are there, he stays positive. You don't really see him getting down too much. I think that's a lot of, and he can throw the ball. I just think maybe year 2, maybe next year, they just look a little off as far as their timing. Like even when I watch Pickens, a lot of the catches are like spectacular catches. Especially that first game they played, a lot of them weren't like great balls. They were like, hey, Pickens, my guy is better than your guy. Some of those are versus like I don't see their offense being like high powered and they're just throwing darts all over the place.
That's kind of what Russ has always been, though. He always just used to pitch it down to Lockett and hope for the best and just be elusive. I think that I mean, I'm not going out on a limb here, but I don't think they can win the AFC. But I'm thinking that with their defense, their running game, and now you add Mike Williams to the mix, and it's early. Russ has only played 2 games.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't even hit his groove yet. I think it's a great setup. I mean, we'll see where it goes.
Right. Oh yeah, I'm with you on that. I think they can. I think it's a good deal. I think they can transcend. I think they can continue to go up. Yeah, I do. I think this is a hell of a pickup. A 6'4" receiver, another big receiver. Because like I said, man, Pickens looks like a monster out there.
Yeah.
Some of these games, I'm like, yeah. So they're going to be good, and they have that, and you have Austin as well too, and Van Jefferson. So they have a lot of speed.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of tall guys. A lot of. So you got 6'3", 6'4", 6'1", and then you have baby Austin over there. Old Calvin called this man a baby, grown man, 5'9", 162, grown man. But they have a good mix of players. I want to get to this waiver wire.
Yep.
For this week. See who is trending. Khalil Herbert. What do you think about? Would you pick him up for? Like right now, would you pick Herbert up right now?
No. I mean, if I was really hurting for a running game, maybe. But Chase Brown has been doing really well.
Right.
He overtook Moss from the start of the season, and he's played really well the last few games. Look at that, what he had against Vegas. Holy crap.
32.
32, just dominated. So
Buck 25 catches. I mean,
Herbert will eat into his carries, and it really vulture at the goal line.
Goal line. Good point.
And that could really suck for a lot of Chase Browners. That's the only thing is I wouldn't waste a roster spot on Khalil until I see what he's doing. But by then, everybody else is going to want him. So
right.
In our league, of course, we can't afford to stash, so I wouldn't make a move on.
Hey, man, there's guys carrying 2 kickers, okay? 2 kickers. You can't carry 2 kickers. You got guys in our squad, literally, is carrying 2 kickers. Quentin Johnston, man, had a really solid week last week.
Yes,
you know, I'm still on the fence about him because, 1, he is injured a lot, and 2, like, is he a boomer bust because you have the 66-yard touchdown?
Right.
You take that away, you know, it's not like it's a high rep. Like, if this was like maybe 10 targets, then I would be a little more excited. I was going to pick him up, actually. I was kind of kicking myself a little bit, but then when I got blown out, I wasn't feeling too down about it because I was like, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So but between him and Ladd, I like both of them.
I was about to say, what did Ladd do last week target-wise? Because that seems to be, so not the, he had 15 points, 7 targets. That seems to be the one that Herbert's going to.
Right.
So, I mean, Quentin is going to get his, but Ladd seems to be the dude right now.
Did Chark come back? Oh, he was still sidelined.
Yeah. So, Ladd is the dude. You know, like going back to the Khalil thing, I think there's other backs on the waiver wire that I would consider picking up before Khalil. Like if Jaylen Warren was available because he looked really good. There you go, trending up. Jaylen Warren looked really good. Yeah, 63 on 11. Yeah, granted the stat line wasn't great because he's got Najee to go through, but that's a guy that I would stash because and he could push. He could push.
It's crazy because like Najee's having a really good season this year. Like I don't know what happened, but look at Najee's numbers every week. He's getting at least double-digit carries. You know, last couple of weeks with Warren back, he's still getting 20 and 19. This with Warren back. Warren has played the last 4 games, and Najee is like it's like they were splitting it because I have Najee, so I've been watching it really closely. But then I think they're just going to like leaning heavy Najee because he's a huge back. He's 242. I mean, god damn. But I do get your point on Warren. He is like a game changer, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's a stash, really, if anything happens to Najee. But the one thing I would say about Najee's production going up, I do think that has a little bit to do with Justin Fields riding the bench. Nothing against Justin, but because he was a run-first guy, didn't have the greatest skills, as far as seeing the whole field. And I think that defenses came up, and it made it very hard for Najee to be able to run in those games. And now you got Russ in there, and they have to protect against the deep ball. You're getting a little bit more room. And now Najee's got to feel great to be able to get that. And look, he's got 3 straight games with 100 yards. So, you can't complain.
Yeah, he's been running well, and he's had like a chip on his shoulder too. He's playing. He looks a little happier. I don't know if that makes sense. I think it was the game against the Jets when he like broke loose for the touchdown, and he was like high stepping in. But then you could just tell when a player is like, "All right, man, I may be in a good space here." And like you said, maybe it is because with Russ out there, Russ they know Russ can get the ball to Pickens. And that's a problem. So you're going to have to adjust. Man, I feel you. Jaylen is like the handcuff that I have with like Algier. Like if anything happens to Bijan, I'm on it. But Bijan is having a spectacular year.
That was a crazy game. I think that I really thought after all was said and done, looking at the Cowboys, I thought they would go into that game and play extremely well because they played a tough schedule. They've had a brutal schedule.
Right.
They had like the Eagles schedule from last year, being the first place in the division. And it's been rough. And then to see the Atlanta game, they just didn't even look like the Cowboys. I mean, it wasn't just that Dak played bad. It's like nobody. And granted, you don't have Marcus, DeMarcus Lawrence. You don't have Micah out there. you're missing a lot of people. Bland, is he still out? I think he was still out in that game.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I mean, it's like Overshown was like the only really big defensive player they've got. And so going into the Eagles game, it'd be tough to play any Dallas starters other than maybe Ferguson, because if Cooper Rush plays and it looking that way, I don't know. And CeeDee Lamb might be out. It's a crazy situation for the Cowboys right now. They can always bounce back. It's still not even at the halfway point for some teams that have had their bye. And he's getting there. The sun is starting to set, but it's like if the Eagles go into Dallas and put a whooping on them, then that could be the end for them this year.
They may sell the farm.
Yeah, I mean,
they may sell a farm, man.
Trade deadline's done, so they'd have to cut people. But
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, trade deadline ended today, so they can't sell anything now.
Yeah, good point.
But in the offseason, I thought, and I have a friend. I watched the games with a friend who's a Cowboys fan, and I told him, I said, dude, I really thought they were going to let Dak walk, and then kind of tank this season, and then get that number one quarterback. But dude, they can't even really do that now. They just paid Dak all that money.
Right.
So now they're going to have to look at getting a marquee wide receiver and rebuilding that offensive line. And that's what he pointed out to me, was that one of the reasons the Cowboys are struggling is that they let their line deteriorate, and they just don't have the bodies that they used to have, and they're not bringing it in. That was always a core of the Cowboys' success, was that offensive line. And it's like Jerry just he's just not there anymore. Yeah. And doesn't mean I'm not happy about it. I'm a Cowboy hater.
Right.
But it is kind of like, wow, it's more surprising to me than like, yeah, I'm like, damn, who's letting this team deteriorate like this? But we'll see what happens with the Eagles. As I was telling him, I was like, dude, all bets are off when you go into Dallas on a division rivalry like this. It doesn't even matter if the second or third string start, and everybody gets up for this game.
100%.
I wouldn't even beat the drum and say the Eagles got this in the bag. They're 7-point favorites on the road. Give me a break. That's insane.
Yeah, that means they're probably, like, realistically a 10-point favorite.
Yeah.
We played well against Cooper Rush. I will say that.
Well, yeah.
A couple years past we've had. Yeah. But even when he came in, when he threw that ball to Lamb, who he should have caught it. I was like, man, he don't have no zip on that ball. It was just like, it was like just like a balloon. So I was like, man, if we get after Cooper, he's going to be in trouble. He's going to be in trouble.
Well, that all depends on if our coach will kick field goals when he should freaking kick field goals, and take extra points when he should take extra points. That, to me, and granted, they had the Saquon fumble that wasn't a fumble, but that game against the Jaguars, like, shouldn't have been close. And if you go into Dallas and you're not taking points when you're on the 4th and 3 on the 20, come on, dude. I get it. I get it. You're aggressive, but sometimes you got to take the points in that situation, and don't put your defense having to play catch up the whole time. And you go for 2 when you didn't need to go for 2 the first time. What the hell are you going for 2 for?
Right.
No sense. So now you're chasing that point. So every touchdown you're going for 2. Yeah. And this is the second time he's done this, because it was the Atlanta game too, where you keep Elliott on the bench. Oh, but then you trot him out there for a freaking 60-yarder.
Unbelievable.
Make him the scapegoat.
Oh, yeah.
When he misses it off the upright. Dude, it's just, anyway, I don't want to get down that road, because I could go on. I know that we texted on that on Sunday, but I turned to my friend, again, a Cowboy fan, and I'm like, I have never been this angry about a win, because I felt like it should never have come down to a Nakobe Dean interception.
And the most improbable ending for us.
Yeah.
The Kobe Dean interception. That's how we win the game. No way. There was about 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. And I was looking at the wife. I said, I can't believe this game is only 22-0. I was just telling her, like, man, we just need one drive to get momentum and feel like they're back in this game. And they went down and scored. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And then the Saquon Barkley fumble.
Yeah.
Right back. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? This is a 16-22. What just happened? And that's when my Nick want to slap him in the face meter started to just go. I was cussing him out throughout the game, but that's when, like, I don't want to say panic set in, but I'm like, see, this is why you don't fuck around. This is the NFL. 9 points. You just poo-poo 9 points in the NFL after that Falcons game. You still, it's like
the same shit.
It's like he puts himself before the team in a lot of instances, man. And it's like to have to overcome the coach. And here's my thing. I've been saying this for years about Nick. Years about Nick. Luckily, he had, you lose A.J. Brown too, because, you lose A.J. Brown, which was huge, and it could have came up huge towards the end. Luckily, we still have Devontae Smith, thank God, and Saquon, thank goodness. So I was just really upset at Nick, man. I could not believe we made that game that hard, that difficult.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was supposed to be a nice, happy week. Their run game isn't going. ETN, what's the Tank? They weren't doing anything. Yeah. I mean, no, they weren't. We had a few key drops that I liked. I'm telling you, man, our safeties cannot cover. My one takeaway from that game, I was like, our safeties can't cover. Either one of them. They can't cover. You always see CD just trailing behind. You always see Blankenship. Now, they can both tackle their asses off, and I think that's why they still have jobs.
Right.
But if it wasn't for who's on the left, you got I didn't think Rodgers. He didn't play all that well, but you know who they went at? They went at Rodgers and they went at our safeties. They stayed away from Mitchell for the most part.
Yeah.
But and then Coop, he's been playing amazing in that slot, man. Definitely a game changer as far as like Maddox goes. It's like definitely.
I was just going to say that.
The only thing I would have liked the Eagles to do, which probably would have messed up the chemistry, was get a safety. But I think we tried that last year with Byard and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So we're kind of staying with, but I think we're suspect at our safety spots. Both those are spots. I do. That's my only gripe with the defense.
I think
they've been playing a lot better.
DeJean still has to stay in the slot because when Maddox comes into the game, he's a liability. He's just not it anymore. So you're right about that. And so, like I said, they wanted to put DeJean at the safety spot, and he'd be good there. But you just can't give up that slot corner. It's just not. And I was really happy with how Dean and Vaughn played in this game against the run, and then just
Vaughn is a savior for us.
Being disruptive. Yeah, the pick was awesome. And it was just like they almost threw it all down the drain. And I think had they lost that game, had Dean not intercepted it and that pass caught, if they did not fire Nick the day after, I would have been furious.
Yeah,
because if you're going to see the guy from New Orleans get fired, losing to the Panthers, then Nick should have been fired for that. And I think that he owes Dean like his next 3 or 4 checks because that just saved his job, dude, because that was ridiculous. But anyway, the only reason I point that out is because we're going into Dallas week and we're playing against another team that is down, that is on their way down.
Right.
And there is no way in hell the Eagles need to make them look up.
Right.
To give them some sort of hope and bring them back into it. It is at this point where you just play. I saw an article where Lane Johnson said that they went to Nick during the bye week and begged him to start running the ball more. Why do you have to tell Nick, who has Saquon Barkley, to run? Why is your best right tackle telling you to stop it with the bullshit and run the ball to one of the best running backs in the league? And so this has made a change. And so it's, to me, is if they don't go into Dallas and they just give a hefty dose of Saquon and play smash mouth defense and win that game, grind it out, put as many points on the board as they can, no matter how it comes.
Yeah.
It'll be against it like a team that's down. You've got to take them out. And we'll see how it goes. But
100%.
I mean, fantasy wise, we'll have to see what happens with AJ. I already had the knee contusion. Chance to play. It depends. I would play him in a limited role if we were going to play him in Dallas because we need him more against Washington. So I would be like, let's see how it goes. We need more out of Dotson. Speaking of Washington, we need more out of that dude. One great catch.
That was a really great catch.
But we need more.
Yeah. You know, man, when you watch a lot of those replays, we don't have guys getting a whole lot of separation, man. You run back a lot of those plays.
Yeah.
You almost have to be, I mean, Saquon gets like the most separation, and AJ will as well, too. Devontae, you know, in spurts, but like, did you see how many plays where you'll see them run out and just trapped and they'll just kind of mosey? Like they don't have like this motor to keep getting open. I don't know if that because they think Jalen's going to take off after a certain time. It's like a little clock that we all know.
I noticed that the play calling on 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 6 or greater, they didn't like have Saquon in a hot route formation where you could check down to him. They didn't do any screens, which would have been great in that aggressive defense coming after him. Right. Instead, it seemed like they went out and ran their 3 wide receiver set against man defense with pressure and expected Jalen to make a completion. And it was never open. All 3 third downs. It's like, all right, you've done this once before. I've seen 3rd and long. Every time you're running the same type of play.
Right.
And that's upsetting to me. And I don't know if that's Nick calling that play or Kellen, because we were supposed to be told Kellen Moore was going to be calling the plays. Now we're hearing that Nick is calling the plays.
Look, you can tell by some of the reactions that Nick is still heavily influenced. When he's like this down the sideline, that's him patting himself on the back. Like, bro, wait until after the game is over, man. Anyway, I can go on about Nick.
Yeah, so I'm worried about those things. We need to be better on third and long on offense
for sure.
And be more creative. And like I said, they're putting it. They're running bad play calls all along on offense. And I don't know if it's Kellen Moore or Nick or both, but it's like you're putting us in bad situations when you could be. I was sitting there in front of my TV screaming, "Run the ball, run it again." Run it until Saquon can't run anymore. And Lord help me, and I have no problem with Gainwell, but man, every time he came in the game, it was like the air went out because Saquon would have like 4 or 5 really good runs.
Yeah, Saquon's
Gainwell for a yard. Here comes Gainwell for a yard. I'm like, dude, get him back out there. I've gone to the days where a running back like Peyton, back in Walter Payton's day, would be in there the entire drive.
Right.
And, if he got winded on a 20-yard run, well, we're not going to hand the ball off to him, but he's going to be in there as a threat.
Right.
Now you bring Gainwell in, and the whole defense is like, whoo, all right, now we can just focus on the pass. It's a liability.
You know, one thing I will say about Saquon, which is hard because he's been so great for us. My wife's my witness.
Yeah.
When he ran out of bounds short on that 1st and 10, I said, I literally jumped up and said, why did you not get the first down? Why didn't you get the first down? Like, it's right there. Like, just lower your shoulder, fall forward, and you get the first down. I said, I don't like it. Then we threw it on 2nd.
Yeah.
To Devontae, real quick, hot route. And I said, I'm literally standing up at this point. I'm like, nah, this is, she's like, what's wrong with you? Just 1 yard. I'm like, nah. Then 3rd down, we run it, we don't get anything. And I'm like, here we fucking go. This is all because of Saquon pulled that giant shit on us and just ran out of bounds. All you had to do was fall forward, man. I thought that was such a key play. And it wasn't really talked about. But Saquon gingerly running out of bounds, he's done it a few times. Where if he just falls forward, it's a first down. And he's put us at 2nd and 1 a few times. And then I was telling Ish, I'm like, well, at least if Saquon's going to run out for 1 yard, at least run it twice and then tush push it. You're not going to stop the Eagles for getting 1 yard on 3 consecutive plays. Then we called the worst fucking plays we could think of.
Exactly.
Then when I seen Jalen drop back on Fussell, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Good, bad, or indifferent. Even if it worked, I was like, that play was horrible on 4th. That was horrible.
4th and 1, and that's the best you got. A fake tush push would have been better than that crap. It's like the Saquon pass all over again. You're overthinking the situation.
Right.
And that will get us beat. And they got some tough games. Dallas is going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
Washington is going to be a tough game. And then we've got some other opponents coming up. The Rams are going to be a tough game coming up. Rams are on the upsurge. If we'd have gotten them early in the season, we could have taken advantage of that. Now they're healthy.
Yeah. Then we have the Ravens right after the Rams.
Yeah, it's unreal. So we got to get the head out of our ass.
You think they're going to flex that time? You know, we're playing during the day. I think if the Eagles win the majority of their next games, that's going to be must-see TV. Especially if we got a healthy AJ. I think that one will do numbers if we can maintain. Because I like the way I think everything we asked the Eagles to do after the start of the season, I think they've done it. Special teams getting that fumble. You know, Nakobe Dean, just playing really. Nakobe Dean just played really well, and Bond is just an absolute steal. I mean, he's everywhere we need him to be. He's everywhere we need him to be. I would love to have him with Miller. Oh man, that would have been. But anyway, TJ Miller, he was still one of our best linebackers we had in a long time. Besides, anyway, I don't want to go too back. But anyway, I think everything and the line is getting pressure. Sometimes I still want the edge rushers to do well, but better. But Sweat has been coming along. And one thing that Kobe Dean said in his press conference, fucking light bulb goes off. I go, see what I'm saying? Even they know. He said, we try to make it a point to get the ball back now. And I'm like, now you guys are starting this conversation. Because they know, I'm telling you, man, I think it goes so underrated. The Eagles get no turnovers sometimes from their defense, and it's not normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal. Catch a fucking pick. Mitchell still has no picks. Rodgers, I don't think, has a pick. I don't know if Slay has a pick. I know Cooper has one. Does Cooper have? I know Cooper has one, right? I know Blankenship has
Blankenship, one. Yeah.
And CD got one off the Rodgers tip. But think about it, bro.
Yep.
Every time the ball's in the air, we're not even intercepting the ball. That's crazy.
Well, I've said this before. I'm going to briefly say it. Fangio's scheme does not allow for many opportunities for interceptions that aren't deflected balls, that aren't dove for. And I attribute it to that in the third quarter when it may have been the fourth, when the Jaguars had the 4th down and 7. And I watched Fangio's defense back up 10 yards off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I pointed out to my friends, I said, you watch when the ball is snapped, they take another 5 yards back. And I watched Isaiah Rodgers basically run down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he's going to make a play on that. And then, of course, they give up the 4th and long. And I'm like, see, that's the thing, is you could have ended the game right there. But you're playing this prevent defense that he loves to do, that it's bend but don't break, but then you're going to break eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It really limits the ability for turnovers. So I think that we have to take them where they come. Luckily, like I said, at the end of that game, we got Nakobe, a freaking linebacker, in the end zone making a play.
Even stuff like punching the ball out. How you'll see teams ball hawk, punch the ball out. I think I finally seen Jalen Carter doing that this weekend. I seen him try to punch one of them out. I'm just talking, I don't know. I understand what you mean with the scheme, and it does put them out there. But sometimes when we have just a one-on-one route, you can see just mano y mano.
Yeah.
I just feel like our guys just never come down with the football, bro. I don't know. It's just one thing that just bothers me. I'm like, how come the Eagles, we're talking not even this year, even last year, we just don't get interceptions.
Yeah.
One of the things that the Cowboys are lacking, what was the main thing the Cowboys had last year going for them? Bland. Them pick sixes. Yeah, 6 games in a row with an interception.
Yep.
I mean, goddamn. And now they don't have them this year. They don't have those pick six. They don't have those fumble sixes. Remember, Dallas defense was scoring points last year. I think it was a stat that even if their offense didn't even score, they would still have a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. They don't have that. So not only do they not have the line, their defense isn't scoring points. And now they look like how the Eagles can look at times when everything's on Dak.
Yep.
Now when everything can be on Jalen. And I'm telling you, man, you see teams struggle, man. Look at health is important as well, too. Look at Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Baker not having so much fun without his top 2 receivers.
It's tough. Yeah.
You can't just lose. Two top receivers and just keep moseying along. Just no, because now he's out there, no trust. The only person he trusts is Otten. That's the only consistency he's had. And who's getting the ball. No different than when we lose our guys and we go to Goddard 100 times, or we go to Calcaterra, who's been really great for us this year.
I tell you what, after losing Goddard, he has been a godsend. So
he's really quick too.
Yeah, he's been that. He outshone all of our other backup wide receivers in that game. I think he only had like 4 catches, but they were key in key moments. So I'm liking Calcaterra as the backup. I just want to see more out of our third, fourth wide receivers. We don't even see anybody.
Yeah,
so
man.
Johnson with the one catch, I was like, oh, he's still on the team. Cool.
Good. We cut old boy. I forgot. What's his name? Paris Campbell.
Yeah, Paris Campbell. Yeah,
so he's up out of there. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and it is an important night in America tonight. The Shizn's 2024. Hey, we won't know tonight. But anyway, go tuck in, man, see what's going on. We didn't get any questions tonight because probably everybody's doing something else. Maybe voting.
Either voting or
watching.
Yeah.
I know the polls closed on the East Coast 47 minutes ago. So I think Central Time is up next, and then, we'll go along. But anyway, yeah, man. But got anything before we get up out of here?
No, I think I'm good, man. Go Birds on Sunday. If like say we'll be back. You want to do Thursday, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll do Thursday for the lineups, and then, man, I gotta study this week and make sure that I have the right lineup and work the waiver wire tonight. I got to look at what I got, what potentials can I fix some holes. We'll see.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm hurting for certain. I only have 3 original starting players. I'm hurting. Lost Drake London. I can go on and on. So everybody's going through it. Good luck on the waiver wire. Hopefully you pick up somebody that helps your squad. Go Birds, beat Cowboys, but we'll say that again on Thursday. Good luck on your waiver wire. And we